Honoring Black History special. I'm Brianna Rittman. This is a month where we recognize the Black people that make Central Illinois proud. From the kids to the adults to the problems and the success stories, we touch base with the locals who make the Central Illinois Black community what it is. Now, our first story is taking us back to when it all began. The celebration of Black history has reached a milestone year. We are in the 100th year of celebrating Black history. In February 1926, Dr. Carter G. Woodson launched Negro History Week with a purpose to study, educate, and promote the contributions Black people made in American society. He chose February to encompass the birthdays of Abraham Lincoln and Frederick Douglass. By 1976, the week evolved into Black History Month, and President Gerald Ford issued an official proclamation.
You don't wait for celebrations, we do the celebrating. That Black history belongs to all of us because Black history is American history, and you cannot tell the American historical narrative without telling the story of Black people. So we don't wait for proclamations. We've already proclaimed it.
Black History Month is also celebrated in other countries, including Canada, Australia, the United Kingdom, and Ireland. Celebrations occur during various months throughout the year. Now to a special story honoring kids who celebrate their culture by the man who paved the way for them. 3 Twin Cities kids leading their communities while embodying the morals and traits of the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Rebecca Brumfield highlights River Stokes Dorsey and Gabrielle Johnson from Normal, along with Bloomington's Miles Tapley as our CI heroes and Martin Luther King Jr. Award winners.
On Saturday, inside the Illinois State University's Bone Student Center Brown Ballroom, 3 Twin Cities teens received I Have a Dream awards. The yearly dedication honors those who exemplify qualities of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Bloomington's Miles Tapley says,
I'm just humble about the experience. It feels super good, I'm just glad I got nominated in the first place, but it feels even better that I even won the award. And it just feels like I'm going in Martin Luther King footsteps, I'm just glad I can help the community any way I can.
Normal's River Stokes Dorsey says,
there's only one you. Nobody can be you better than you can be you. So you have to make your impact for yourself, how you want to look and be seen by the world. From a very young age, I've been volunteering within my community with things like food pantry, and then in the Sunbeam Choir, we volunteered at nursing homes to go sing in Christmas Carol. So I've kind of been raised up in community service, so it's kind of just become a second nature for me.
Normal's Gabrielle Johnson says,
from when I was a little kid to now, I have been doing a bunch of work and everything, and I guess whenever I give people food or whenever I help kids, whenever I help people in my community or whatever, I get this really happy feeling inside because I'm like, oh, I did something good. I'm actually impacting people's lives in a good way.
Sing a song. The 2026 Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Luncheon marked its 50th year. The high schoolers agree it's an honor to receive such a distinction, following in the footsteps of an iconic activist and a civil rights leader. In the Twin Cities, Rebecca Brumfield, WMBD News.
When people think of Dr. King, his friend Rosa Parks is often not far behind in their mind. In Peoria, in honor of her birthday, one seat has been left unused on every Peoria CityLink bus on February 4th. Communications Director for CityLink, Dr. Shamra Robinson, explains it's important to remind Peoria residents of Rosa Parks' story or teach those who do not know it. Posters inside of the buses also highlighted important figures, local leaders, and notable civil rights activists.
It's an educational piece, and that's what we really want to bring to our community. I did have someone actually come up to me and ask me today, it was someone young, just said, who's Rosa Parks? And so I was so honored to be able to share that moment with that one customer and take them over and say, this is how you can learn a little bit more about Rosa Parks and what she did that was so monumental for public transportation and Black History Month.
Monitors inside of the transit center are showing information on important figures in Black history throughout the month. Now we're going back to the Twin Cities. Women's sports has changed a lot over the years, with many women blazing a path forward for generations to come. WMBD's Austin Feeman highlights a few African-American women from Illinois State University who helped bring women's sports to where they are today, and not just for the country, but the world.
Illinois State University has produced about 13 Olympians over the years, with one of those people being the first ever African-American woman to compete. Tidy Ann Pickett was a track and field star from Illinois State University who qualified for the 1932 Olympic Games, but faced a lot of prejudice for her success.
Tidy Ann Pickett really set the stage for the growth and spirit of women's athletics as the first African-American female to compete in the Olympics.
But Tidy wasn't the only one who made an impact on women's sports. Kathy Boswell came to Illinois State at just 16 years old. She was a basketball star who qualified for the games in 1976, 4 years after Title IX was enacted into law.
Kathy was an Olympian and she was a student athlete here at ISU in the late 70s, early 80s. And as you could see, her jersey's in the rafters, so she definitely made a huge impact on ISU as a player.
Kathy still lives today and was a trailblazer for women in sports, showing no matter your age, sex, or skin color, you can make your dreams come true. And that stands the same for Dr. Nell Jackson. She was the first African-American woman to be the head coach for the Olympic women's track team in 1956 and again in 1972.
She was in an era when women's sports, girls' sports was not even found in many places. She was well known among her peers in many, many different schools. She worked very hard to make a name for herself, and her name still resonates with people who know the sport today.
Even with all the adversities these women faced during their time, they still fought back and stood up for what they believed in.
All of these women were trailblazers, front runners, pioneers, and they had a real spirit about them that I think transcends into where we are today with women's sports being so popular.
In Normal, Austin Feeman, WMBD News.
Coming up, we have team coverage on racial disparities in maternal health. But before we go to break, we hope you were paying attention because we've got some Black history trivia for you. Sit tight for the answers. Welcome back to our Honoring Black History special. Part of that history is the struggle to be heard. And for Black moms, it's having their maternal health taken seriously. I worked on this story with WMBD's Cameron Main. We talked to a local doula and federal lawmaker on how to keep Black moms alive.
91% of those deaths are preventable.
For many Black moms, the joy of pregnancy can be overshadowed with health issues. And oftentimes, these issues go undiagnosed until it's too late.
It was a similar story for Morgan Wirtz.
If I would have just had someone there that could advocate for me or explain to me my rights and just the physical support even. Luckily, my children are healthy and beautiful.
That experience is why she is a doula today.
It just moved me to want to step in and support, people of color and Black maternal health even more.
The CDC reports Black maternal health is a serious issue in the country. It's caught the attention of federal lawmakers, including Congresswoman Robin Kelly.
It doesn't matter if Black women are educated, resourced, in good shape, they still die 3 times the rate of white women or white women with high school, diplomas.
She says one of her constituents was dismissed out of the hospital just moments before she gave birth.
But at some point, they discharged her without her seeing a doctor, without knowing what the discharge plan was. And 8 minutes after they discharged her, she had a baby on the side of the road delivered by her husband who had no medical background.
Kelly is trying to pass the Women Expansion for Learning and Labor Safety, also known as the WELS Act. The bill would require hospitals to give written reason as to why they discharged a pregnant patient. It would also require racial bias training for healthcare staff.
And Wirtz says racial bias does play a part in Black maternal deaths.
Just racism in general comes into play a little bit. I think just there's myths out there of Black women not experiencing pain. We know that's not the case. We're all the same. And if only we were treated the same.
Reporting in Peoria, Cameron Main
and Brianna Rittman
for WMBD News.
Staying with our health coverage for Black History Month, mental health can sometimes be a touchy topic in the Black community. According to the Office of Minority Health, in 2024, African American adults were 11% less likely to report having a mental health illness in the previous year. Now, they are also 36% less likely to have received mental health treatment. Licensed clinical professional counselor Faye Freeman Smith has been in practice for more than 30 years. She says a lack of resources in the past kept African Americans from properly receiving mental health care.
In the early 1900s and mid 1900s, we didn't have the resources of competent, cultural competent counselors in our field, and hardly any counselors. So our communities lacked those resources. And so we went to the church for everything.
According to the American Psychological Association, 5.49% of psychologists are African American. Now, in addition to the church, as Freeman Smith mentioned, barbershops and hair salons serve as a resource for Black people needing a place to decompress. Shop Talk is part one of my fellowship series exploring where and why we gather in the Black community.
It's a great place to socialize, but it's also a great place to learn and share information.
You have your highs and your lows in the barbershop, but you learn how to deal with all of that.
Barbershops and hair salons have purpose beyond styling in the Black community.
We still are a major hub for communicating with each other, finding out what's going on in our communities with each other, helping each other with family issues, community issues.
The community embraces hair specialists at great magnitude to the point families are serviced by the same person across generations.
It's a blessing, you know, to be able to have cut 3-4 generations of hair.
Throughout history, Black barbers and hairdressers were pioneers in the community. Annie Malone, who has ties to Peoria, was one of America's first Black women millionaires, gaining success with her hair products. David Struther, the first Black person to vote in the state of Illinois, was a barber in El Paso. And shops were helpful during times of racial tension in Bloomington Normal.
Some of that occurred at one of the skating rinks here. There were two major incidents that took place there back in the late 60s, maybe early 70s. There was a local newspaper here that was kind of non-establishment type of paper, and they would come and talk to us. And
in present day, hair care providers are noticing changes in salon culture.
People change, for one. You know, are we as close to each other as we used to be? You know, a lot of competition, scarcity. We think there's not room for two beauty salons on the same block.
But all hope is not lost.
Societal-wise, it's by design, but it's up to us to not blame that, but to move forward trying to dismantle those things that make us separate, that make us feel like we need to compete with each other, that make us feel like we can't work together.
Honoring Black history, I'm Brianna Rittman. Coming up, highlighting local royalty for their service in the community. But first, back to our Black history trivia. This time we're focusing on voting rights. Welcome back. We're continuing our Black History special by honoring another CI hero, leading from the front while epitomizing patience and grace. Jaleisha Allen is an administrative aide for the University of Illinois Chicago for the Division of Specialized Care for Children. And while she's proud of her professional work, she beams when she gets the chance to discuss her community involvement. Allen is the 2025 Mrs. Illinois Black United States. She's also a part of the most recent class of WTVP's 40 Leaders Under 40 Award. Above it all, she says being a role model for young kids is the most rewarding.
I can be in a classroom just because I always tell them, I sat in a classroom just like you all. And we all have different circumstances and have been through different things. But the end result is all in your control. You can be a leader in a community, you can inspire other people around you, and you can do things that make a difference.
Aside from the accolades and accomplishments, she knows her servant's heart is how she'll continue to impact the region for the better. And staying with our local royalty, Jade Shantice is the 2025-2026 Peoria Miss Juneteenth. I sat down with her recently in studio to talk about what she's accomplished during her reign so far. We're continuing to honor Black history by highlighting impactful people in our community. Today we're sitting down with Peoria's Miss Juneteenth, Jade Shantice. Thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thank you so much, Brianna, for having me.
Now, why did you decide to run for Miss Juneteenth last year?
Well, my decision was no stranger to the community. I'm very active in leadership, starting my own business when I was 15 years old and striving through a lot of our own Peoria resources to grow my own network and being able to become the person I am today.
How impressive. Now, could you share your journey over the past year as Miss Juneteenth?
Of course. We're only so far in, and already we have touched a lot of collaborations here within the Peoria community. We have so many collaborations, appearances, as well as members that our own community has been able to come forward and attest that our services and our communication and our collaboration has not only been impactful, but been insightful for a lot of the youth. That has been one of my favorite things about engaging with the community so far this year. So being able to be a part of our back to school campaigns, local things with Glen Oak, and being able to be persuasive with a lot of the academia that goes on with our school literacy system with my own initiative called Readers Make Leaders, where I sit down in classrooms and, read books with children and as well promote academia with humor and lighthearted skills too.
Readers Make Leaders. That sounds so awesome. Now, what has been most rewarding so far?
Being able to see the results of the kids go on their own after taking the initiative to be such a sponge around me and taking my insight really to heart as a motivator and also an influential leader, to be able to find that they are capable within their own skills, and however best that my story has driven them so far to go in and reach their unlimited beliefs, any potential they may have, goals, dreams, desires, that it doesn't matter where they come from, the lack of adversity they may face. I'm a living testament. We can all do great things.
All right, now Jade. Now, Ms. Shantice, what do you have to say to the youth and future contestants?
One thing I will say that I wish somebody would have said to me a lot sooner is, you're so much more capable without the crown and sash. You have so much potential within yourself that if you just delve down and really hone into the inner voice, that inner child, don't lose that voice when you get older, because that voice is what's going to drive your ambitions, your skills, how you connect and navigate with the world that is today in society, and being able to become that influential leader, that next business owner, the next president, that next star athlete, somebody who wants to resonate and also leave a legacy like I do.
All right, well, Jade Shantice, everyone, thank you so much for joining us today. Coming up, we've got one more story honoring Black history. But first, one last trivia question for you. Welcome back to our Black History Special. Soul Food is part 2 of my fellowship series about the importance of gatherings in the Black community. I explore how breaking bread together feeds more than just your body.
Gatherings have always been important within the Black culture.
Through the good times and the bad, coming together to break bread is important in the Black community.
You have connectedness and interconnectedness with one another, and that's all those gatherings are.
Many gatherings include filling your plates with soul food. Some staples include fried chicken, fried cabbage, macaroni and cheese, and sweet potatoes.
Soul food is so big to me because it's not just about the food that you're eating, as you shared. It's about connecting with the soul.
The origins of soul food begin in the South during slavery, when the enslaved were given the undesirable cuts of meat and growing their own vegetables. Food was prepared making the most from what they had.
Gatherings during slavery were very important to their survival.
Fellowship allows for generations to connect and traditions to be passed down. Some of those connections happening on the dance floor.
Dancing has been something that we do no matter when we're happy, sad, disappointed, anxious, whatever it is. Dancing brings that joy out of us.
So on Friday, how much money did Smokey owe Big Worm?
Another part of Black gatherings includes playing card games and board games.
Don't necessarily just bring family together when something go wrong. You want to bring family together when something good and bring that happiness. And with my game, Black Movies Matter, that's going to bring that family and that laughter together.
So whether it's the weekly family Sunday dinner or the repast after a funeral, fellowshipping with those you love is food for the soul.
I think at the heart of it all, in most cases, you know you're in a space full of love.
Now it's time to go. While Black History Month is coming to a close, in reality, Black history is every month, every year, every day, and every minute. And we will continue to cover the Black voices that matter. Thanks for watching.